Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into India's budget for 2026. And look, this isn't just a bunch of numbers on a spreadsheet. Think of it as a strategic blueprint, a detailed plan for how the world's most populous nation is going to keep its economic engine roaring. So let's get right into it.
So yeah, that really is the billion-dollar, or rather trillion-dollar question, isn't it? The big goal here is to keep up this incredible growth rate of around 7%, not just for a year, but year after year. To pull that off, the government has laid out this multi-layered strategy. It's a real game plan that we're going to break down for you piece by piece. Okay, so the whole driving force behind this budget can be summed up in two words: Viksit Bharat. It literally means developed India. But the core idea is pretty simple. As the economy grows, the benefits have to be shared by everyone. It's all about turning this massive national ambition into real-world results for its citizens.
And this whole vision, it really rests on three main ideas. First, action over ambivalence, which just means making bold choices instead of sitting on the fence. Second, reform over rhetoric, so actually changing how things work, not just talking about it. And finally, people over populism. Focusing on long-term wins for everybody instead of just short-term political points.
Now, you can think of these four things as the legs of a table. You need all of them to keep things steady. It starts with fiscal discipline, which is just a fancy way of saying the government is spending its money wisely. That helps keep inflation, or rising prices, under control. And when inflation is low and predictable, businesses feel confident enough to invest. And that is what drives sustained growth. See how they all lock together? It's a powerful cycle. So how exactly is all this growth going to happen? Well, the first engine is a massive push to supercharge manufacturing. And we're not just talking about building more factories. This is a really strategic plan to make India a global powerhouse for producing high-tech, cutting-edge stuff. And the strategy here is totally laser-focused. Instead of trying to do a little bit of everything, the budget targets these key high-tech sectors. We're talking about things like semiconductors, the tiny brains inside all our electronics, and rare earth minerals, which are absolutely essential for everything from your smartphone to green energy tech. It's basically about making smart bets on the industries of the future. And of course, government policy is the fuel for this engine. Just look at some of these tax reforms. Each one is like a little tweak to fine-tune the economic machine, by making it cheaper to bring in specific parts for shoes or airplanes, or by giving exporters more time to get things done. The government is basically removing roadblocks and making it way more attractive to set up shop and manufacture in India. But here's the thing. This big manufacturing push isn't just for the giant corporations. The budget has this three-pronged support system for all the small and medium-sized businesses. So they're getting money to grow, a system to make sure they get paid on time so their cash flow doesn't dry up, and even professional help to navigate all the complex rules and paperwork. All right, on to the second growth engine, the services sector. India is already a global giant when it comes to things like IT and business services, and this budget basically aims to double down on that strength. It recognizes that this is where a ton of modern, high-quality jobs come from. And the approach here is huge. It's all about building a whole ecosystem for services to thrive. You can see they're targeting everything from healthcare and education to sports and design. It even has a special focus on what they call the orange economy, which is a cool name for the creative industries, like movies, gaming, and all kinds of content creation. Let's drill down on some of these niche areas. The plan is to create these specialized hubs, right? So, for example, making India a top destination for medical tourism. They're also investing heavily in Ayush, that's traditional Indian medicine, and setting up special labs to give the creative industries a boost. It's all about finding these new pockets of growth and really nurturing them. The third and final pillar is all about agriculture, a sector that is still the backbone for a huge part of India's population. The focus here is on nothing short of a total transformation, moving from old-school subsistence farming to a modern, productive industry that actually boosts incomes for farmers. And the ideas here are super practical. It's about getting more out of the land by reviving old orchards, helping people start businesses in dairy farming, and promoting high-value crops like cashew and cocoa. And for fisheries, it's about building modern supply chains so that more value is created from the moment a fish is caught to when it reaches the consumer. And you guessed it, technology is at the heart of this transformation. There's a program called Bharat Vistar that's going to use AI to connect massive amounts of agricultural data. What that really means is that it aims to put the power of a supercomputer and an expert consultant right into the hands of every farmer, giving them real-time advice on everything from weather to pests. So there we have it. The three big growth engines: manufacturing, services, and agriculture. But what's holding all of this up? What's the foundation it's all built on? Well, it really comes down to two critical things: a relentless commitment to reform and the smart use of technology. Take a look at this number, over 350. That's how many major economic reforms have been pushed through to pave the way for all this growth. And every single one of those represents a rule that's been simplified, a bureaucratic headache that's been removed, or a process that's been made faster, all to make it easier to do business and create jobs in India.
This quote really captures the whole philosophy. The idea is that reform isn't a one-time thing. It's a continuous journey. You can almost picture it like a reform express train that has to keep moving forward, constantly upgrading the tracks to make the ride smoother for growth and job creation.
And finally, technology, especially AI, is being seen as a force multiplier. This means it's not just another industry to grow. It's a tool to make the entire government work better, smarter, and faster. Imagine using AI to process millions of welfare claims instantly, cutting down wait times from months to just minutes. That's the kind of game-changing stuff we're talking about. So there you have it, a really detailed blueprint for India's economic future, built on a stable foundation, targeted growth in key sectors, and a non-stop commitment to reform. The plan is definitely ambitious, and that reform express is chugging along. The real question is whether it can navigate all the challenges, both at home and abroad, to finally reach its destination, becoming a truly developed nation.